as you say, the Internet Party, when it kind of emerged as its own entity at first, as you said, they kind of like, we just are against John Key. And everyone kind of chuckled a little bit and thought, it was a nice idea for a party. But with the introduction of Laila Hare as their leader, I think a lot of people have started to take it a little more seriously. Would you say that gives the party a bit more credibility, or would you say that possibly has a downward effect on Laila Hare?
I think in terms of the general public, that your first proposition would be correct, that people did start taking it a little more seriously when Laila emerged. I mean, she's been a politician for a long time. I was personally really surprised to see her linked up with the Internet Party. I don't think it's done her personal reputation a lot of good. A lot of her former colleagues and associates are pretty critical of that move. She was really part of the Green Central campaign team. She was running the CTU's election campaign strategy, and then suddenly goes to join another party. So we'll see how it goes. It's a really interesting combination of characters, though.
Let's move on to a little bit of earthquake recovery stuff. What are your thoughts on some of the overspending or, supposed overspending on the city plan? Things like $200 million plus on a convention centre that we don't need, according to a lot of people. $53 million on a bus exchange, and $20 million on a playground. Is it kind of too late in the process to actually change any of that, or do you think that these are things that can be made changes to? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, let's just go back a step. About a year ago, I asked the Minister of Canterbury Earthquake Recovery, Jerry Brownlee, if he was going to release the business cases for the anchor projects, the very projects you're talking about. And he said that they haven't been done. There are no business cases. I cannot believe that our Minister of Finance has said, just open check, with no business case. Michael Cullen would have laughed us out of his room if we'd said, can we have $20 million? And he'd say, where's the business case? So I think that's the first thing. Let's look at the business case and see how robust it is. I actually think Christchurch does need a convention centre. I think we need a stadium. We need a lot of things, actually. I wouldn't mind some libraries and swimming pools in our communities. That'd be quite good things. We haven't got track and field events areas, so there's a lot of quite basic things that we're missing. I would like to see a decent partnership, a genuine partnership between central government and local government, where we can sit down and say, actually, we know how much money we've got now. We didn't know when the cost-sharing arrangements were put in. We know the amount that ratepayers can really afford to pay. We know what the insurance gaps are. Let's say, what can we do and when? So for me, even though I do think we need a convention centre and a stadium, we need more homes as a priority. So I'd really crank up that side of things, and then I'd look at the communities and say, what do they need? And whether central and local government can do that together or not is, remains to be seen. But I've seen a lot of goodwill from our Christchurch City Council. Selwyn and Waimakere area are definitely up for the conversation. So that's the role I'd like to see, rather than the Jerry Brownlee approach, which is, it's like he was given a Monopoly game. Do what you like. And this Monopoly board is called Christchurch. Yeah. And then he throws grenades at, the previous mayor and the current mayor. I don't think that's the way we should respond after such traumatic events. We should all be in this together. This is above politics, if that doesn't sound too weird from a politician. I mean, what else would we have needed to have gone through to say, let's put our debate aside and get on with what we need to do for the residents here?
Okay. And David Cunliffe has also come out and announced to the media that a Labour government, if voted in, will put a bit more funding towards the flooding issues that we've had here over recent months. So to what extent is that?
What we said is that there will be some attribution of flooding towards earthquakes. The earthquakes have caused damage. Some of it is actually infrastructure damage. That hasn't been repaired yet, but some of it is the ground moving, the water table coming up. There's a whole lot of underrunners in the hills. There's a lot of earthquake contributions to flooding. Our point, Labour's point, is that let's not have a big argument about how much. Let's just do a deal and say we're in this together. People just cannot be forced to go through having their homes flooded because Jerry Brownlee is arguing with the Mayor about who's responsible for what. Just get it sorted. We're grown-up people, sit around a table, get an agreement.